Okay, so let's say that we have some data points now and that we have gathered some information. And so what we start to talk about is a relation. And what a relation is, by definition, is a set of ordered pairs. Okay, so it means that anytime I have more than one ordered pair, more than one point on a graph, I have a relation. It just means that there is more than one of them. And when we break those up into the two values, remember that an ordered pair is x comma y. The set of the x values, all of the x values, we call the domain, and the y values we call the range. Okay. And other terms that you might see for those, we also call them input, and we also call this the output. Okay, and those are terms that you'll see later on, but for right now, just remember domain and range. And so what we look at here is that we have these ordered pairs. Okay, and so -3, 1 is a point, -2, 0 is a point, 1, 2 is a point, 3, -4 is a point, -3, or +5 is a point. Notice that we write them as parentheses, x value, comma, y value, close parentheses. And then when we have more than one of them, we put them in these curly braces. Okay, this thing right here, this curly brace and this curly brace. Okay, that makes it a set. And we put commas in between each of the ordered pairs. All right, so just kind of common ways that we write these. So down in the table, anytime we're going to write an ordered pair in a table, remember x goes on the left side, y goes on the right side, and the matching x and y go side by side. So in this case, -3, 1 would be written as -3, 1. -2, 0 would be -2, 0. 1, 2 would be 1, 2. 3, -4 would be written like this, and -3, 5 would be written like this. Okay, and so once we get those written into our table, you can see here are all of my x values, here are all of my y values, which is interesting. So your domain is asking for all x values. So what I'm going to do is to write them as a set, so that means I'm going to use those curly braces, okay, and all it is just kind of a parentheses with an extra little curly Q in the middle. And then I'm going to write all of my x values. Okay, I'm going to write them from least to greatest always. So I'm going to start with here -3. Okay, notice I have -3 twice. I only have to write it once though. Okay, so even if it's repeated, I only have to write it once. Then -2, and then 1, and then 3. Okay, so those are all of my x values. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the range. I'm going to do the y values. So I do my curly braces, and then from least to greatest, I start with -4, and then I go to 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 5. Okay, so those are all of my y values. Okay, so all that I've done is just kind of, I'm rewriting this information, making sure that I understand, how to write it. Here's how I'd write it as ordered pairs. Here's how you write it as a table. Here's how you write just the domain, just the range, okay? And so these are discrete graphs. We don't have any other information. We don't know that these are connected dots. And so we're just going to plot them as a discrete graph, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that over here. I'm going to skip the mapping for a second. And so I'm going to plot the point -3, 1. So from 0, -3, +1. Okay, that's one of my points. And then -2, 0, 1, 2, 0. And then 1, 2. And then 3, -4. And then the last point is -3, 5. Okay, so those are the points on the graph. I have a point here, 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 and here. All right, and sorry, that's just a stray mark where my pen went down a little too heavy. So just here, 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 and here. All right, and so that's how we would graph it. We don't connect the dots because we don't know if this is discrete or continuous, so we're just going to leave it as discrete because we don't know kind of the background on this. All right, so that leaves us with mapping. There is another way that we might draw a relation, and it involves using these two circles. And so we put the x values over here and the y values over here. So just like the table, except for instead of a table we have two ovals. So I'm gonna put in, and I'm gonna do my values least to greatest, just like I have them written over here. Except for I'm gonna go vertical. So I'm going -3, -2, 1, and 3. And then on the y side, I'm gonna put all of my y values. So -4, 0, 1, 2, and 5. Okay, and so now I have all of my x values and all of my y values. So in each of these ways that we talk about relations, notice that the x and the y that go together are in a set of parentheses here. The x and y that go together here are side by side. The x and y here, as they go together, create the point. And so here we have to find a way to put the x value that matches the y value together. And so what we do is we draw a line from the x value to the y value. So -3, 1, I would draw a line from -3 to 1 and include a little arrow. Okay, and then -2, 0, I would draw a line from -2 to 0 with my little arrow. And then 1, 2, I would draw that little line with my arrow. And then 3, -4, I would draw that one up here. And then the last one is -3, 5. So I'm going to have a second arrow coming from this -3, second line, and this time it will go down to the 5. Okay, and so that just maps out a visual representation of the x and the y value. All right, so I'll give you a chance to practice that. You can do it down here for number 2, the same exact way that we did number 1. And then on number 3, you want to be careful because in this one it looks like you don't have any information, but you do. It's actually over here in the graph. And so I'm going to go ahead and help you get started with the ordered pairs. So the first thing we're going to do is start out our set with a curly brace, okay? And then we're going to start with this point up here, okay? So -2, +3, -2, 3 is the first point, okay? We write it with our parentheses and the comma in between it. Then we use a comma to separate, and we go to the next point. So we'll do this one next. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. Okay, there's a second ordered pair, and then another comma, and we're going to go to the third ordered pair, this one right here. Okay, we're going 0 in the x direction, and then 1, 2, 3, -3 on the y. And then another comma, and we'll go ahead and do this one. 1, 2, and -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. And another comma, and then the last one, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and +2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, and that's that last point. And then we close that with a set of curly braces. All right, and so now you're going to do your table. You're going to write out just your x values, write out just your y values, and then draw your map. All right, so that'll give you some practice with this as well. And so hopefully that will help you out a little bit. So on the next video, we will start talking about the domain and range a little bit more and what that looks like in the form of a graph. And so how to kind of look at that on a graph with a continuous graph. So let me know if you have any questions to this point, and if you need me to check over that again, just send me a text or an email and let me know, and I'll be glad to look over that for you.